Hey everybody, welcome to my podcast. A funny thing happened on my way to success. I am your host, Miguel Washington, comedian, public speaker, author, entrepreneur, radio personality, disciple of Christ, father, husband, grandfather. I've done it all. Is that enough? That ain't enough? We can do more. I can keep listing stuff. Glad you guys came to join me. And welcome to my new podcast. I'm having a good time. Something different. This podcast, for those who don't know, my focus is going to be on talking to and interviewing entertainers who are on the grind. What I mean on the grind is comedians who have not, or comedians, musicians, entertainers who have not made it to that superstar level. And I'm not saying that the entertainers on that level don't grind. I'm saying we are still on the grind. We're still on the road. Because I've watched different entertainers in shows where they interview entertainers, and they're always the superstars. And I always wonder, why don't we do a show where we can interview entertainers like myself and what we go through on a daily basis, because nobody knows us really. After we leave our place where we perform, we go back home. A lot of people don't even know, our neighbors don't even know what we do. So I want to do have a platform for them to tell their stories and to talk about what's going on in their life, because a lot of stuff is going on right now in the entertainment business. I know for a fact this COVID-19 has flipped everything around. So a funny thing happened on my way to success is the name of the podcast. And people ask me, how did I come up with this concept of a funny thing happened on my way to success, or the podcast, A Funny Thing Happened on My Way to Success. I have to give credit to my oldest son. He goes by Kim Naki, which I'm like, I don't know what that means. That ain't even your real name. And he just looked at me and said, well, Miguel's not your real name either. So touche, he got me on that one. But I was trying to find what I was going to do after this whole crash of the cruise ship industry, entertainment industry, the world industry, where we come to a halt. And I'm trying to find direction because I can't work corporate shows anymore. All my corporate stuff was canceled. All my conventions were canceled. All my cruise ships were canceled. So now what do we do? And he said, if you don't mind, let me give me a minute to think about it and come up with a concept. I said, okay, cool. 10 minutes later, he calls me with this whole outline of we're going to do a continuation from your book, A Funny Thing Happened on My Way to Success, which here's my book here. If you hadn't got it, you can get it on Amazon right now. Funny Thing Happened on My Way to Success. And the book is just about funny stories of things that have happened to me on my road, on this road of comedy I've been on for the last 30 years at this point. So he said, well, let's do a continuation of that, telling funny stories, talking to people, talking to your entertainers' friends, and get their stories, get their concepts. So I said, let's put this together. So we're gonna see what happens. And I'm gonna bring my guest on right now. Now, I met this young lady. I'm trying to do this. I don't know if I'm doing it right. This young lady that I'm bringing on, I hope she can hear me.
Hey.
We met on the cruise ship. And I'm not the type of person I'm not a production show type person. So like in the world off the ship, you would not see me on Broadway going to a production show. I'm just not that guy. On the cruise ships, you are, I don't want to use the word forced, but you are intrigued with what's going on with other entertainers, because I'm always interested in the entertainers I work with. So I got a chance to work with this talented young lady, and wow, blown away. So I want you guys to welcome to my podcast, A Funny Thing Happened on My Way to Success. I met Kate Gordon. How you doing, Kate?
Good. Thanks. How are you? It's so good to see you. Oh my gosh.
Oh, now see, okay, okay. It's good to see me. I got to tell you guys this story of how Kate dissed me. And then I'm going to tell you a story how I did the same thing to someone else, and it occurred to me. Remember when we were at, I can't remember what ship we were on. We were up having lunch, as we always do. All the entertainers get together and we go up and chat and hang out and talk shop and just talk life and everything. And I had just finished my show the night before. I wanted to get something. We're sitting at the table, and I'm going to get something to eat. This woman stops me and said, "Are you Miguel Washington?" I said, "Yes." She said, "Oh, I love your show last night. You are so funny, blah, 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 blah." And she looked at me and said, "Is that your wife over there?" I said, "Oh, no, that's Kate, Kate Gordon. You'll see her tonight. She's a great soprano." So he said, "Oh, okay. I just didn't know." So I go back and I tell Kate, and Kate's reaction was like, "No, no." I'm like, "Really, Kate? Really? Is it that bad? Is it? Did I brush my teeth this morning? What happened there?" I will never forget that one. And the reason why I won't forget it, when I got married to my wife, we were just dating. We were girlfriend, boyfriend. And we went on a cruise together. And I was still bitter about marriage at this point. So, yes. So we're getting off a ship, and a woman comes up to me again. "Are you Miguel Washington?" "Yes." "Oh, we love you." And then they turn to my girlfriend at the time. "Is this your wife?" I was like, "No, no." Yes. And I had to live with that for like 5 months. Anytime I asked her to do something, no. So, Kate, what are you doing? What are you doing? Sunday, what are you doing?
What am I doing? Well, first of all, I was certainly dressed and prepared and ready for this all day. Yes. Definitely didn't, just do the whole thing last minute. Definitely not.
Okay.
What I do today, replaced some boards on the deck. That was good. That was productive.
Productive, yeah.
Needed to be done. To be done. Yeah.
We have a little time off, so we got to do what we got to do.
That's it. Just getting all those house projects that always get put off
Well, yeah, I'll get it the next time after the next trip.
That's it. Now I have no excuses. So.
Right. For those who don't know who you are, tell the people who you are. Your name is Kate Gordon.
That's me.
Sopranoist. Am I saying that correct?
Soprano, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Is it called
soprano
a soprano
singer?
A soprano singer, not a sopranoist.
Correct. Yeah, sopranoist. It's not really a thing.
Yeah, I'm not like a comedianist. I'm not. I don't know where the "ist" came from. I don't know, like a violinist. Yeah. Okay. A soprano singer. And when I say soprano singer, I'm not talking about. I'm not talking about a Mariah Carey who hits a high note every now and then on an album. I'm talking about someone that is trained. Would it be classical? Would it be what's the word I'm looking? The type of music? Not orchestra. Opera.
Yes, I am classically trained, which does encompass opera singing,
right?
Right. So you learn the techniques of how to do that when you're classically trained.
Right.
It encompasses a little bit of just in layman's terms, I call it Broadway, so musical theater style could also be considered in that. That's part of what I do as well. But yes, I tend to be on the classical side of things.
Now, so you can't see Kate. Kate is this tiny, and I hope I'm not disrespecting you, this tiny, beautiful woman. But when this voice comes out, you're looking around like, she's mic'd. That ain't her. That ain't her. That can't be coming out of her. That can't be coming out of her. But you have this beautiful range. I was not expecting that.
Oh, thank you.
I was not expecting.
Thanks for saying that. Yeah, it's you're the best, seriously. But it's so fun to be able to have the opportunity to sing these amazing songs, primarily from operas and musical theater, like I said, to an audience that might not necessarily watch those shows. Someone like you just described yourself earlier, right? Like you wouldn't go and seek something like that out, but these people have the opportunity to go to these shows and sometimes they see something different. So I really enjoy that aspect of the job, getting to present this material to them. And then hopefully they leave the show saying, oh, wow, I didn't even know that I liked opera, or wow, I've heard that before, and I didn't know it was from this opera or this musical. And, maybe that's a gateway for them to dive into more and to go support, those arts more.
And that's the whole thing. I remember a friend of mine who was a jazz musician. He did not like being called a jazz musician. And they said,
Okay.
why? He said, because you putting labels on individuals, and people
Yes.
see the label and they won't
Yes.
come and see the show because I don't like jazz.
Yeah, that's so true.
So you are a singer
Yes.
as
That's
opposed to a certain type of singer.
Yes, usually when people find that out, then they want to know more, right? They want the details, just like,
Yes.
oh, you're a comedian. Oh, tell me what kind of, what style of comedy you do,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
So I end up telling them, oh, I sing a little opera, oh, I sing a little musical theater, and occasionally. Yeah, exactly.
Opera.
I attempt a pop rock song, but
It's like opera. It's pop and opera. It's a combination. You got to come and see it.
mind blown.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. So tell me, how did you're from Chicago, correct?
I am, yes.
See, I did my research.
That's right. That's right.
What part of Chicago? What part?
Bucktown.
North, south, east, or west?
So it is on the northwest side, technically.
Okay.
It's
Milwaukee or
yeah, right around there. That's one of the major cross streets. Yeah,
okay.
It's right above Wicker Park.
Okay.
It is to the west of Lincoln Park, where
okay.
is. A lot of people know.
Now, the reason I asked what part of Chicago, my wife tells people,
mm-hmm.
and I'm taking a drink now.
Yes, I'm having my Coke Zero.
Yeah, she's from Chicago.
Okay.
I was like, oh, really? What part? She said, South Side, from the suburbs. Now,
okay.
mind you, I've been to Chicago many times. I love Chicago.
It's the best city.
I've been to the South Side. I said, what city in South Side? I've been Dalton, what's...
Yeah.
Gary, Indiana. That's not Chicago.
No.
It's the suburb. I'm like, so is Dallas, Texas, if you're going through those parameters.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Yeah. I said, once you leave the state, you can't claim that city.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. It's just over the border. It's right there, but it's not technically Chicago.
Exactly. And that's my point.
Not.
And I can say that because she's not in the room with me. So
there you go.
So
that's when I get on those people. They say they're from Chicago. So when I ask these questions, then I'm like, okay, how much can I talk about this with you? Because then they go, actually, I'm from, Gary, Indiana.
Gary, Indiana, right.
Actually, I'm from River Forest. And I'm like, oh, okay, so you're not actually from Chicago. Got it. And we can talk about your place. That's fine. Let's be real.
Yeah, you lost some points with me. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
So tell me, how did you get into, first I want to ask you, how did you get into singing opera as opposed to get into just singing another type? A young lady would, I'm sure you got into this at a very young age.
Yes, definitely.
Were you forced or were you drawn to it? Because I'm thinking more young ladies would be drawn more to pop, R&B on that level. So how did you get into
Sure. So it's cool that you're asking me this, because this is part of what I talk about in one of my solo shows.
Mm-hmm.
I had a really big musical influence in my grandma, Sandy Gordon. She still is. Mm-hmm. But I would go over to her house when I was a little kid, and she would play all the golden age musical records and a lot of orchestra records and big bands and things like that. A little bit of opera. She was more into Broadway stuff, but I fell in love with it. I just thought it was the coolest thing. And she's musical. She's a church choir director and plays piano and organ. So she's a big influence on me.
Have that influence of choir, church and all that. Yeah.
So that was all a big part of my upbringing, and I just loved it. Loved it, loved it, loved it. Yeah,
So
always
you
been a part of my
gravitated
life.
to it.
Yeah, for sure.
Here's the thing: grandparents are great influences.
They are.
It's a, and I hope I'm not using this in the wrong way, a dying breed. Because when you say dying and grandparents, I don't want them to say I was.
You don't want to think about that. Yeah, no, no, no.
But the grandparents of old are not like the
Yes,
grandparents now.
I think that's true.
Right.
Yeah,
So you were influenced by your grandmother, just
very much.
listening to what she listened to.
Yeah, and it was an active experience of listening with her, because she would talk to me about it and play the piano and say, this is where this comes from, and these are the characters. She would, try to tell me the story and about actors and actresses that she had seen on stage and songs that she liked to sing. So it was very involved.
Well, let me ask you this. So what if you couldn't sing?
Yeah. Oh man, like what else? What else would I do for work? Oh my gosh!
Because she had to, even though she's telling you about these things, these telling you these stories, she had to hear the pipes.
Yeah.
From you to know that there's potential there.
Yeah.
And I've learned that potential just means you ain't done shit yet. That I found that. So having that potential. And then, but what if you didn't have that potential? What if you didn't have those pipes?
Man, I don't know. That's so hard to answer, right? Because life luckily worked out this way. I think if I wasn't so fortunate, then maybe I would still try to do something in the arts. I've thought maybe another career path for me would have been, or still could be, to be some sort of an agent or casting director, because I love connecting people.
Right. Uh-huh.
And nothing, I mean, they wouldn't all be my friends, right? But nothing makes me happier when I see my friends or people that I know, or just see some special talent in them and connecting them to someone else that can do something for their career. So I think that's really cool. Maybe that.
But see, I see you, if not a singer, an actress.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah,
I see,
for sure.
what is the young lady's name? I cannot think of them. She's been in so many movies. I can see her face right now, and I cannot call her name. Well, two of them. One, she was in the series with Don Cheadle on Showtime. She does the Enterprise commercials now.
Oh, I don't think I've seen the show you're talking about.
Her name, oh my God, I should be my research.
Wait. Is it Kristen Bell?
Kristen Bell. Her?
Yes. Oh my gosh, I love her.
Yeah, her, or the other actress who does the Holiday Inn commercials now. Real small, petite.
Oh, dang.
Where she goes between, she does this, I don't know if it's a credit card commercial where she keeps going.
Okay.
Behind, no, it's a hotel. She goes behind the clothes and comes out with different outfits on. She's talking to the girl in these different attitudes. She said, "How do you do that so well?" She said, "Well, I'm a pretty good actress."
Oh, is that Anna Kendrick?
And that doesn't.
I feel like she does some commercials.
Okay.
And she's definitely like petite and very like spunky and fun.
She's done a lot of different movies. I think she was in was she in the movie with Leonardo DiCaprio on what's it, Inception? What's that movie where they go back in time and you don't know the real world? Anyway,
yeah, with like the dream inside the dream.
I see you. I
remember her in that, but then again, I haven't seen that.
She's in the movie Table 19.
I don't even know what that is.
You gotta look. Pull up on your check it. It's about this at a wedding. The Table 19 is the worst of the worst people. The people who really didn't want there, but they put them there and they put them way in the back. And the whole movie is about the story of this table.
It's the reject table.
Exactly. And she was there because she was engaged to the bride's brother.
Oh.
And broke it off, and then accepted and then rejected and then accepted but sitting back the RSVP burnt because she had burned it. So they sit her back on table 19. It's funny. So when you see an actor, that's who you.
Okay, I'll have to check that out. That's one for the list.
Right. So okay, let's go. Let's talk about because I don't want to harp. Well, we don't already harped on movies. So how did you get started on the cruise ships? Tell me that. How did you get your?
Oh gosh, that was such a it's such a random, cool story, I think. So I lived in Las Vegas for over 4 years. I was performing out there. Okay. And then I moved to Chicago, and I had been living in Chicago for, I think 1.5 years or 2 years at this point, where I got a text message from my friend, David Perico, who I'm forever grateful to. Okay. He's a band leader, a composer, a trumpet player. He's just a big player out in Las Vegas and beyond in the music scene, and was so kind to text me one day and said, "Hey, Kate, I hope you don't mind, but I sent your stuff off to a friend of mine who's an agent and has a big hand in the cruise ship industry, and he's looking for someone with your specific talents," meaning they wanted a high soprano that could hit a high F. That was a very specific qualification that he let me know they were looking for.
A high F in tune.
That's right.
I can hit a high F, but it ain't in tune.
So, yes.
Yeah.
So I said, "Oh, wow, thank you for thinking of me, and I really appreciate it. And you know how crazy and tough this industry is." I just put it to the back of my mind and was like, you know what? Like, that is so cool. A friend reached out to me like that and said, "I want to put you forward for this. I think you're qualified and great, and I stand by you and your talents." Right. So flattering, right? So I just went about my day, and then I get a text message from this agent, who's now my agent.
Right.
And he's like, "Hey, David Perico mentioned you, and this is amazing. Love all your stuff. If I could just get, one more foreign language song and send me another photo or two, and we're good to go." And I was like, "What does we're good to go mean?" I was like, "What is job even?" Like, I don't know anything.
What is that? It's like a guy saying, if you decide to come with me and you go buy a dress and then we go find a preacher on the way, we good to go. We good to go. Oh, you're gonna marry me.
Like, wait, what?
Yeah, you're gonna marry me. After to marry you.
Yeah, it was so wild. So then he calls me and he's like, "Hey, great to talk to you. So here's the job." And he laid out all the details for me. And he goes, "It starts, I need you to start in August." He's like, "Are you free?" And I had just finished a regional tour of The Diary of Anne Frank. So I was like, cool, that contract just ended, looking for something new at this point. I was like, "Yep, free to go, free to travel." He asked me if I have a passport. And then he goes, "Okay, well, they're going to want to move fast on this. So just, hang out by the phone for approximately the next 24 hours, but I think I'll have an answer to you sooner than that." So, yeah, it was wild. So I spent 3 hours pacing my apartment in Chicago, like, what is going on? What is going on? This is so wild. And then, 3 hours later, he calls me and he goes, "Hey, you got it. They're going to fly you to London and you start." And I was like, wow, like everything just changed instantly.
So your first, when you got to London, you got the job, you're excited, you fly.
Yes.
You had never experienced cruise ships.
No, that was one of the questions he asked me, because he was like, "So I guess they've had some problems with people getting seasick. Like, have you
It's
ever..."
a different world out there. That's what people don't understand.
And just, it's just a different way of life, right? As you know. And he goes, "Do you think that's okay?" And I said, "Well, I went on one cruise as a passenger when I was 16, so I think I was fine."
It don't count.
Yeah. He was like, "Okay, I'm sure it'll be cool." And it was.
Well, see, luckily you came on as a headliner. right away.
Yeah.
You didn't have to experience, and I didn't have to experience the whole rooming with people.
Yes.
Like college, which I didn't go to college. I just heard. I roomed with my wife at 17. That was, we should have had bunk beds, not have these 2 kids, but that's another story. Needless to say, you didn't experience that. So when you got there, and you weren't doing your main show.
No, I hadn't. Correct.
Okay. So that's what I'm thinking, because that came later.
Yes, I didn't develop my own shows. Until 2 years in to that job.
Did you start? How long have you been on cruise ships?
3.5 years.
See.
Yeah, so I'm still kind of new.
Yeah, I got you beat. I started in 2000.
Are you at now? What are you at?
I'm at 20 years.
Dang! Look at you. Good for you.
When I started, it was different than it is now.
No kidding. You've seen it.
Yeah, I've seen it all. And I've seen great entertainers come and go.
Yeah.
I've seen entertainers like yourself, divas who had the skill, but the attitude just killed it.
Oh, that's big, isn't it?
What drew me to you was the personality was great, beautiful person inside and out, friendly, and always had a smile on your face. And you don't get that. You don't get that often, because everybody thinks, a lot of entertainers come on, people have whispered in their ear.
Oh yeah.
Watch your back. People out to get you. They'll stab you. So people have this
they put walls up. Yeah.
They have the walls up when you, and
definitely.
It's refreshing when you come up and, hey, how you doing? I'm Kate. And I'm like, oh, okay, she must be new. She got this.
She's not jaded by this world yet.
Yeah. It's funny because my aunt from California lives here with us, and she walks down. We tell her, we know the people who are from Georgia.
Oh, yeah.
She said, why? I said, because the people from Georgia wave at you. They don't know you.
That's right.
And everybody else, they'll just keep their hands down.
Yeah.
So now she's like, she speaks to everybody, hey. I'm like, you're not from Georgia. She said, I want them to think I am. I said, not like that. You just put your hand up, put it down.
You gotta be cool about it. You gotta be chill. Cool. Yeah, make it natural.
But you were cool about it, and there was nothing fake about it. That's the thing.
Aww.
There was nothing fake about it. And you're the same. Because we met, 2 years ago?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, 2 years ago.
And the last time we worked together was on, I can't remember, I think it was the...
we were last together on the island.
Island Princess, because I rarely worked the island.
Yes. That was it. So
how you feel about this whole, how are you dealing with the whole shutdown of the industry? Because honestly, I'm going to tell you this. I have not, and I hope this is not a knock or what's the word I'm looking for myself. For me, I have not missed the stage yet.
Okay, yeah.
I haven't missed it. It's like I'm enjoying just being at home.
Absolutely. That's great.
For a little while.
Yeah.
But I got some friends, they are fiending like crackheads.
Wow.
They're chopping at the bit. They need to get on stage. I was like, I don't need to get on stage right now.
I would more agree with you. And everyone handles it differently, right? Like, to me, this all still kind of feels like a dream, to be honest. Like it's almost not real. But then on the other hand, I've had breaks in between a couple contracts before that have been a month or a month and a half long. Now I'm starting to get this feeling like, okay, it's time to go back, but I'm not going back.
Right.
I don't know. It's bizarre.
So where were you when this whole thing hit? Because I was on a ship and just got offered 2 weeks to stay on that ship because they didn't want to move anybody. And I told them after I had a doctor's appointment, I said, well, let me see if I can see a doctor's appointment. Because they said, well, we know the next ship you go to, they're probably going to cancel you. So you might as well just stay where you are. And I said, okay, let me find out. And the next day when it came out that Princess was shutting down, and so I didn't even get to say a yay or nay.
Oh, wow, that fast.
But I was like, I'm thinking 60 days, that's cool because I had that money coming in, then I had another contract coming in. So I was saying I could take a month off, and I'm good.
Right. Like other stuff is on the books.
Right. And then as we start going, now it went from April, May, June, and we don't know anything after that. So how are you coping with that?
You know, to be totally honest, not great. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's good to be open and honest about all this
absolutely.
stuff.
Yeah. Because we need to vent.
Absolutely, we do. It's healthy, honestly.
Yeah.
So when this first started going down, I was back on the Island Princess, actually, and got the same thing from my agent that said, hey, I was supposed to be on there, I think 10 or 11 days was my initial contract. And then my agent said, hey, can you stay the entire month?
Right.
And my boyfriend was actually on with me, and I was supposed to fly home with him. And so we talked it over, and I was like, I mean, the money's good if I stay, but I really want to go home with you. I don't know. So we decided I would stay, and he ended up leaving, which is worked out great for him because he left from Cartagena, Colombia.
Okay.
And the next day, they shut down the airports there basically and weren't allowing anyone from cruise ships to leave. So that was really good timing. And I stayed, and everything was changing day to day on the ship. Every day was like a new piece of news. So I'd wake up, check my email, go visit with the entertainment director. They hadn't scheduled me for any more shows, so I was kind of just hanging out, it was kind of weird.
So did you stay the whole month?
No. So then it changed again, right? And they said, Princess is making this announcement, like you said, and they are going to suspend cruises, so you're done, basically. And because people like you and I are classified as passengers, you have to go home if you can go home. So I was sent home from Fort Lauderdale on the 17th of March.
Okay. I went the 14th, that Saturday. So you went out that Tuesday.
Yes.
Okay. And how was it? The airport, it was pretty smooth.
Not bad. Not bad at all. Yeah. I got tired of waiting because, they kick us off the ship there at like 7 a.m. Super early days. So I got to the airport bright and early. And my flight wasn't until 5:30 or something. So I just went, you know what? I think I'm going to rent a car and drive home. So that's what I did.
Wait a minute. You to Chicago?
No.
Okay.
Yes, I drove to Tampa.
Okay.
So, yes.
Oh, you live in Tampa now. You're from Chicago.
Now I do. I do. Yes, yes.
Oh, you were like really like, I'm getting out of here.
Holy cowabunga. Yeah. Yeah. So, and it was an easy drive, right? It didn't seem like it was 4 hours.
Like a 4.5-hour drive.
Yeah. So I got home way before my flight even took off. So I feel like that was worth it.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. So you're not handling well, but it's gonna. I think every day is a change.
It is.
So you never know what to expect. Like last week, I was feeling some kind of way.
Yeah.
And I'm a very spiritual person.
Right.
And I talked to a friend of mine online. She couldn't talk on the phone, but she. This is how God have been working in my life. She asked me what was going on. I kind of told her, and she replied basically, without going into everything, God got you back.
Oh, it's nice to just hear that sometimes.
Right. So I said, okay, I'm going to go and pray. I go upstairs. I start praying. I fall asleep. I wake up. I pray some more. My phone rings. It's my sister. My play sister. I wasn't going to answer the phone because I know how she is at times. But I said, let me just answer. Hey, how you doing? Just checking on you, seeing how you do. Have you filed for unemployment? Blah, 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 blah. Yeah.
Right, right, right.
Okay. We'll talk to you later. Love you, Bob. Hang up the phone. She calls right back. Can I pray for you? I want to pray for you right now. Somebody's telling me to pray for you right now. I said, absolutely. So she prayed for me. And basically, she was saying the same thing. God got your back. I said, okay. Later that afternoon, I run an errand. I come back home. I go in my mailbox, get my mail. I get a card from a friend of mine from high school.
Nice.
We talk all the time. And he knew what was going on. Him and his wife sends me a check.
What?
And I was like, dude. So I call him. And he answers the phone. And I said, yeah, man, I received some in the mail. He's like, you got some in the mail? Huh? Really? I said, right. Really, dude? Really? You gonna do?
You're gonna play it like that?
Right.
Huh?
That's what I said.
Okay.
So I said, listen, I had a conversation with my pastor 4 days ago. And had I not had this conversation with him, I would be sending you this money back, because he told me, if there's a problem, I know what you're going through. If you need anything, pick up the phone. We'll help you out. And I said, we good. We're going to be okay. No, you understand what I'm saying. I said, no, I'm going to be fine. He said, no, okay, let me explain it to you this way. To be a good disciple also means to learn how to accept a gift.
Yes.
It's not all about giving.
Right.
Sometimes it's for you, like you said, I'm waiting on God. Well, God is, through me, is giving you a gift, so you need to learn how to take it. So I told my buddy, had I not had that conversation, I wouldn't be taking this, right?
Wow.
We have this conversation. 2 hours later, my friend I've been knowing Verley since the 4th grade, calls me out of the blue. I always call Verley.
Yeah.
Verley calls me, and my first thought when I saw his name was, oh, I hope his mother hadn't passed, because his mother's been sick. That's the first thought.
Oh, no.
So I say, what's up, Verley? How you doing? Oh, man, I'm good, man. How you doing, man? I said, I'm good, man. I said, what's going on? He said, no, man, this whole cruise ship thing, and God was on, had you on my mind. I had to call and check on you, and basically said the same thing. God got you. Wow. So after all that, I have decided God got my back.
Absolutely.
So I'm not going to worry. I'm not going to worry anymore. I'm not going to, it creeps in from time to time.
Yeah, sure. And that's normal. Yeah.
Right. But I think this is helping me. This podcast is helping me. I hope it's helping you and anybody else that I talk to.
Yeah.
Hopefully this is recording. If it's not recording, I'm recording it here on my phone. So
nice.
It'll be in your voice. So let me ask you this. So before we wrap this up, let me ask you. So where does Kate go from here? What are your plans?
From here, well, I'd like to keep moving forward with performing. So I'm working on some new material and just gonna try and have that as polished as I can, ready to get back out there, just tightening up those moments in the shows, and I'm gonna be ready to go, man. I'm looking forward to it.
You're gonna be proud of me. I'm doing something right now. I haven't even told my wife this.
Oh,
I am taking singing lessons, vocal lessons, and the reason why I'm taking vocal lessons because of my horn. I want to hear better.
Your sax.
Yeah. So I decided, well, I have all this time. And here's the thing we have to understand as entertainers, even though we're not able to perform on stage right now, we should be, if not working on our craft, working on something that will be positive in our life.
Absolutely.
Vocal lessons. I start a script writing class Saturday.
Oh. That sounds cool.
I'm doing the podcast.
Yeah.
I'm doing a series, the Dry Dock Comedy Channel.
That's right, Dry Dock Comedy Channel.
Yeah. So I got all these things, and plus with things I have to do around my house.
Exactly.
I have plenty of things to do. So it takes that spirit of depression, of worthlessness, or doubt out of your mind because you're keeping yourself busy.
That's the thing. That's the key. And I know that can be super, super hard. The toughest part is just getting started, right?
Yeah.
So once you do that, then you're good. Even if you're going at a slow pace, that's okay. Yeah.
Yes. I found that all I gotta do is 10 jumping jacks and I'm fine.
That's it.
But I have not done 10 jumping jacks since I've been home. I'm starting today.
And after this, it's exercise for you. Oh my goodness.
Well, Kate, thank you so much
Oh, thank you.
to come on my podcast. I don't know what I'm doing. I haven't even listened to anybody's podcast. I don't know what they do. I said, you know what? You know Alex Ramon?
Yeah.
Alex is doing a podcast, and I was a guest on his podcast. And I remember me and Alex, and he said, "Remember, you were the first person I told that I wanted to do this podcast."
Aww,
and I was sweet. But we never had time because we were always working.
Yeah.
And one day he said, "I'm sitting here. I have all the equipment. I'm just going to do it."
Why not?
So when my son said, "You have all the equipment. Why don't you just do it?" Well, because apparently I didn't hit the record button on the first interview I did. That's why I can't do it. But I think I got it right this time. This is recording. The phone is recording.
Perfect.
Yeah. So
we got something. It'll be fine.
Something. Yeah, we do. All right. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you. This totally made my day.
Yeah, we're going to keep in contact. How's Juno doing?
He's okay. He's actually laying down next to me. Yeah.
Okay, good.
He's okay. Hanging in there. My three-legged boy.
They got to take one of his legs?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So.
Was it cancer?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, it was.
I lost
osteosarcoma. Yeah.
I lost my. We had 2 Rottweilers.
That's right. I've seen the pictures. I remember.
We put Tyson down in October. He had cancer of the spleen.
Oh, that's so hard.
Yeah, so all we have now is Nala. And but she is spoiled rotten now because she gets love from everybody. Everybody. She was upset with me this morning because it was raining, it was storming, and I couldn't take her for a walk. Yeah. She was following me around the house like, "Are we gonna go? We're gonna go." I was like, "Listen, when it's
it's raining."
Yeah, so
I know. I try to explain that to them too. They don't get it.
We get it. They don't get it. Maybe I should have Nala call Juno and they can talk it over. You know what I'm saying?
You go. He loves every dog, every person, so I'm sure he'd enjoy that very much.
I'm glad he's okay. I'm glad you're okay. Keep your chin up, keep your head up, and thank you.
You too.
A funny thing happened on my way to success. I got to meet the great Kate Doyle. Thank you, sweetie.
Yes. Bye.
We'll talk to you soon. You can purchase my book at Amazon. Also, listen to the podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and all podcast platforms. Follow me on all social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Miggy'sWorld_. Lastly, to experience and support everything I'm doing, go to my website, miggy'sworld.com. Thanks again, and we'll see you next week.